Hey babes, hope you're having a good Sunday so far. I just finished filming. I saw Pepper running in the mirror. I just finished filming for you another workout, and I'm going to start doing a little bit more of the tutorials, basically explaining how the exercise goes. So hopefully you'll be able to get some value out of that. Before we get started with the Q&A, I have two questions I want to answer before you ask me anything live. And I do want to talk a little bit, morning Holly, I do want to talk a little bit about macronutrients. For those of you that don't know, a macronutrient is your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. So that means, for instance, say avocado is actually a fat source. It's also a little bit of a carb as well, but it's basically what each food item is predominantly. So for instance, like your chicken, your eggs, your beef, etc., would be all considered protein sources before anything else. Of course, a lot of items do have, fats in them as well as carbohydrates. Sorry, the dog's clawing at something here. Anyways, so what I want to talk about is basically the amount of calories in these items and how you can kind of structure sort of your meal plans, because I know there's been some questions about, what to eat, how to eat it, etc. But the biggest thing is you have to listen to your body. There's not like a set meal plan that just works for every single person on this planet and allows you to lose weight. But you need to be cautious of the fact that per gram of fat sources, so this can be anything from oils, like I said, avocados. This is also going for saturated and unsaturated fat. You're looking at 9 calories per gram. So yes, fats are generally higher in calories, which is why the whole facade of if you eat fat, you get fat, which couldn't be more false, because it's all about your caloric intake. I think fat just kind of got the bad rap because it's got basically double of what your protein and your carb sources have. So protein has 4 calories per gram, and so does a carb. This is not to coach you on how the heck to count calories, because I am the first person to explain that I think this is obsessive behavior. I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's long-term. Honestly, I would be basically batshit crazy, excuse my language, if I had to count my calories every single day. And that's the thing, like macronutrient timing and also just macronutrients are super important. When I always talk about, getting the amount of protein that you need in your daily diet, that's where I base everything else that follows. So I try to keep my carb sources to a minimum, but again, vegetables are carbs. So you have to kind of play around with the numbers a little bit. I am not afraid to eat healthy fats. I actually, as you know, I eat avocado every single day of my life. It's not because I have to, because I really actually love it. And I enjoy it. And I know it's super important to get your omega-3 and 6 fatty acids into your diet. And it's super hard to do that with, just food alone. But at the same token, if you can have, basically a more plant-based diet and kind of get rid of those breads, the pastas, the cakes, the stuff that you already don't feel good eating, even though you think it fills you up, it actually doesn't. And I think that's why you can eat basically a whole box of pizza and still be hungry, because your mind is not sending the signal to your stomach that you're full, because that's considered junk food. There's really very minimal nutrient benefits to having something like that. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I don't ever have pizza, because I most certainly do. I love pizza. However, I am well aware that when I do have it, it's not necessarily going to be feeding my body what it needs. And that's sort of the 80-20 rule. I think it's more a little bit higher than 80-20, but you just need to focus on making sure you're nourishing your body. Pepper, stop. With the proper nutrients. Sorry, this is what happens when you go live. Good morning, Anna. I'm just gonna close the door. One sec. So, I got those things out of the way. I just kind of wanted to briefly touch on macronutrients, and I'm gonna answer Laura's question first. She was asking me about gym workouts compared to mine. And she was kind of deciding which ones to do. I would take the workouts that I'm doing and doing them at the gym. She had mentioned that she does a lot of classes. I mean, this is like you're having a personal trainer in your own room. I'm taking you through these workouts that have worked very, very well with not only just myself, with tons of other clients to develop lean muscle mass, burn fat, and make sure that your body is actually becoming healthier and is able to burn fat even when you're at rest. So even though, you're not necessarily working out all day, obviously your body is going to continue to burn the fat, continue to burn the calories throughout the day if you have more lean muscle. So that's the way I structure basically all of my workouts. And I highly recommend, because you've paid for this program, that you follow along with my workouts. If you want to do them at the gym, go right ahead. If you want to do them at home, it's completely up to you. And I'm going to be posting a little bit more of the ones that I did at the gym, but I'm trying to make sure that this is very realistic for everyone that's in this group. And a lot of us are kind of back in quarantine, or at least have been working out at home for quite some time now, because it can be very unsettling going back to the gym. I think we're all kind of in the same boat there. So that would be my advice to you. Follow along with my workouts, because you might as well change it up. And you were asking about doing like dance classes or combat classes when you're fasted. And my first, sort of question back to you would be, are you feeling lightheaded? Are you feeling dizzy? Are you feeling energetic through these workouts? Or is it opposite? Are you feeling, I just need to know how you're feeling during that workout to kind of give you the advice on whether or not it's working for you. Fasted workouts are incredible. I don't do any high intensity cardio, mostly because I absolutely hate it. I've never been one to like classes, but I will tell you that I'm going to give you props, because you found something that you like, you found something that you can commit to, so you got to keep going. And it's good to change it up every once in a while. I will say that. A lot of the times when you're doing those types of classes, they're very cardio oriented, and some of them, yes, might incorporate weights, but you're constantly moving in and out of those exercises. So your body will basically begin to adapt to the same class over and over and over and over again, which means you're hitting a plateau. So it's super important to switch it up. And I do recommend, if you are getting lightheaded, just have something small. There's something called a dirty fast, which is actually so ridiculous, but it's basically you can have like 50 calories while you're fasting. So if you are somebody that drinks caffeine before you work out, like a cup of coffee, then maybe have like a little piece of banana, or just try to keep it under 50 calories. But again, it's all determined on how you're feeling during these workouts. High intensity can really spike your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, which is 100% responsible for storing fat. One thing I do have to let you know is when your body is in an anaerobic versus an aerobic phase, you are actually, it's all about your oxygen uptake. So a lot of the times people think that they have to be like sweating profusely, doing like an hour of cardio training, running outside, doing high intensity exercises to lose weight. And I'm telling you right now, you can't be further from the truth. It's actually a test that I used to construct myself and be a part of when I worked at Lifetime, which is a huge gym in Mississauga. And basically you are able to measure the amount of oxygen that your body needs during exercise. And it spits your proper zones out. And what I mean by that is where you are most efficiently burning fat during exercise is actually the complete opposite than sweating profusely and feeling like you're gonna pass out. It's no secret that we work hard when we do the workouts together, but at the same token, we're still keeping our heart rate in that proper zone where we are going to maximize our fat burn. And that's something that really opened my eyes, 5, 6, I think it's like 10 years ago now that I did this test. And honestly, I was like, what? Because we're so transformed to be like high intensity, sweating profusely, cardio junkies, and it's actually the complete opposite. If you're looking to develop lean muscle mass, obviously lean out your body, lose fat, lose weight, and tone up. Because now your body, when you have a lot of lean muscle mass and you're drinking the amount of water that you need and getting your protein intake, your body becomes a fat burning machine, whether you're working out or you're not. That's the goal here. It's not to do this thing really quick and never focus on it again, okay? So that's the other sort of tidbit. I will get to you, Holly, I promise, babe. Just so you know too, for that sparkling water, Laura, that you posted, it's great. The other 2 protein shakes are a hard no. Whenever you look at something and you read the ingredients, if you, first of all, there was probably about 50 ingredients. That's your first sign that it's absolute junk for your body. Natural things that your body requires to nourish and, be nutrient dense and vitamin dense, then it should be like anywhere between, say, 10 to 15 ingredients max, depending on what it is. this was like 45 and 50 and half of them you can't even pronounce in the English language, that means it's not good for you. So I would stay far, far, far away from that. I have a protein I will recommend to you. It is Arbonne. I've been taking this for years. I've never in my life found a protein powder that I liked up until Arbonne, and I don't really want to go into that, but I will definitely link it up in this little questionnaire, okay? I'm going to answer Holly's. So Holly goes to the gym. I gotta, please hold. I have to hit see more. So she goes to the gym. You go there for about an hour. You focus on weights and follow on my workouts, but you're finding it hard to get your cardio in. Okay, babe. So it's all about scheduling, number one. And number two, if you can choose between weightlifting and cardio, I want you to choose weightlifting. All you need to do if you're starting to feel like you're not burning enough or you're feeling like you're plateauing a bit, decrease your rest periods, up your weights, and lower your reps. Okay, so you should be still moving from exercise to exercise. So what I usually do when I'm working out at the gym, especially because time is always limited, I will take, like even today, I did chest and back today, and I did like maybe 20 seconds of rest in between each set, maybe. So I will bounce from a back exercise to a chest exercise, and then I'll go back to back, or I'll go back to the beginning and just do them back to back. So my heart rate is starting to get a little bit more elevated and I'm burning more calories. So if you're having a choice, you know, I would always recommend too, if you are somebody that does both, if you're a weightlifter and a cardio person, and why I mean cardio, I mean stationary cardio, like a bike or running, or the elliptical, whatever, you should be doing your cardio after your weightlifting. And there's been so much controversy on this too, and people giving this advice and that advice. The reason I'm saying to do it after is because you need to have the maximum amount of energy that your body requires to properly lift weights. Proper form, proper mind muscle focus. You don't want to be getting on, say, a chest press machine or doing back rows when you're profusely sweating, because you're probably lifting less weight, number one, and you're probably lacking a little bit on form because now you're more tired. It makes sense, honestly. And then in addition to that, your heart rate is already elevated at the end of your workout. So if you jump on the cardio machine for 15, 20 minutes, it's a great way to kind of burn some extra calories at the end, and then you can just leave the gym or shower or whatever you do there, okay? So hopefully that helps, Holly. You sweat a lot and you're working, when you're working out, but I can't feel my heart rate. I'm not sure what you mean, girl, because you should be able to feel your heart pumping, especially if you're sweating. But again, you're training in that aerobic phase, which is your body is struggling to get oxygen. So your heart's pumping really fast, or maybe you can't feel it, or you're sweating so profusely you feel tired, but you're actually not doing anything to target your fat stores. I hate to be the bursting of the bubble, but honestly, that's one of the main reasons I don't love cardio. I also hate washing my hair every day. And I hate washing my face 2 or 3 times a day. It's so annoying and it dries it out. But I'm not saying cardio is not important. So please, please, please take that in consideration. Hi, Laura. Hi, Mary Beth. I did answer your question, Laura, and I do have one more. Actually, I answered all 3 of yours. So Anna has a question now. You find your body is extremely sore the next day after your workout, your back and your legs especially. Is there a good supplement? Anna, you got to get off the idea of taking a supplement, girl, for every single thing. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call you out, babe, because obviously I know how hard you've worked and that you're trying really hard with your nutrition, etc. But there is no magic pill that fixes everything. The one thing I will say in every stretch of the imagination is you have to take a probiotic every day. That's absolutely necessity. Right now, I would highly suggest vitamin D, but there's not one thing that you can take that's not going to make you sore. So there's 2 things I would kind of say to that. You need to absolutely up your protein. If you're feeling really sore and lethargic and uncomfortable after you work out, I would for sure check your form. Okay, that's super important. And I would kind of need to know a little bit more details as to where, like you're saying your back, is it your whole back? Maybe it's your knees because you might have some arthritis. Like my knees crack all the time when I'm squatting. I had a little bit of a sore back last week, but that's because I think I did an exercise incorrectly. And I actually made a note of that when we were, when I was recording it for you all. But here's the thing, like you need to absolutely look at your protein intake because you're not feeding your muscles the right amount of nutrients and energy and calories for them to repair themselves. When you are resistance training, your muscles are tearing. So you have to know what to nourish your body with in order to repair them. The other thing is potassium is a huge one. If you're finding that that's an issue for you, I'd recommend automatically to eat a banana directly after your workout. It's excellent source of potassium. It can really help break up the lactic acid, which obviously exists inside of muscles. And the other thing is that recovery gun that I know you asked me about, foam rolling, stretching a little bit more. That's the thing, ladies, and I will apologize in advance for that. I don't love to stretch with you afterwards because I feel like it takes away some time for our live, but stretching is so important, especially at the end of your workout. Just like we always do a warm-up to get our blood flowing, our muscles pumping, and being, you know, physically prepared to tackle the workout, the recovery portion to cool down is just equally as important. So Anna, 3 things, girl. Number 1, no supplement can fix anything. I just recommend for sure the probiotic for gut health, vitamin D, and then, you know, you can kind of pick and choose wherever else you would like to fill the gaps. But the other thing is more potassium, more protein, 100%, 1 gram per body pound is absolutely the goal. And you need to check your form, get a mirror. Get a mirror. And I think these little tutorial videos that I'm going to do are really going to help everybody. I will be posting them on Instagram and Facebook, not just in this group, but just for everyone to kind of learn from. So please make sure that you check them out. And then the other thing is just your recovery gun and making sure you're stretching. Okay, babes? So just be careful because it's super easy to injure yourself. Hi, Wendy. Yes, Mary Beth. I agree, girl. Hi, Sandy. Okay, so Kristen, hi Kristen. I am so very petite and I am fine. I'm losing weight now. I have to change my diet. How can I add more healthy calories to my diet? So I know that you were trying fasting, Kristen. I would highly recommend, girl, that you don't do fasting. Maybe 3 times a week, maybe. Okay? If you are a petite person, you need to consume a little bit more calories, and to get healthy calories, you want to look at your omega-3 fatty acids or fats. So your things like your avocado, fish, stuff of that nature. I don't think you're a vegan. I'm just trying to get in my mind whether or not you are. And then the other healthy way is definitely through protein sources. You know, your goals need to be sort of to balance everything out. And I understand that you are petite. I actually have seen you. Thank you for sending your pictures. So I would recommend upping your protein intake a little bit more. And don't be afraid of things like, I'm not sure if you're wanting to gain weight. Can you post that in there, Kristen? If you don't mind, just let me know whether or not you're actually wanting to gain weight, and then I can kind of take a look at it. But I also don't really recommend fasting for you, babe. You might be used to it right now, but at the same token, you need to start getting more calories. That's the thing. When we talk about weight loss or weight gain, because there's actually, Wendy is also in the same boat as you. She doesn't want to lose any more weight. She wants to develop lean muscle mass and get stronger. So I recommended to her, once again, up your protein intake, up your healthy calories. So if you can just kind of give me an idea. Other ideas in terms of off the top of my head, I would say things like yams, rice, obviously more vegetables, maybe a little bit more nutrient dense vegetables, things like your broccoli or your kale, stuff of that nature. Fruit, 100% fruit. I always recommend to have your fruit earlier in the day, just because when we start to wind down for the evening, the glucose in fruit is really, really hard for us to actually break down as the day goes on. So I'd recommend things like berries, even a banana. Don't be afraid of fruit, ladies. I get that all the time. It's high in sugar. By the way, it's not refined sugar. It's natural sugar. So don't be afraid of fruit. Seriously, don't. So those would be kind of just off the top of my head what I can think of. Or quinoa, maybe some more beans, lentils, tofu, stuff like that, because it's going to fill you up still. It's really nutrient dense, and it's just going to be better for you to help you gain a healthier amount of weight, and also it's going to feed your muscles the proper amount of energy. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, babe. I think I've got a couple more. I'm going to answer Tara's question. She's not on here, but I will answer. She asked about taking the BCAAs only when you work out. So BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, your body cannot produce these on its own. So branched chain amino acids, I touched on this a little bit before, but it's going to feed your muscles, especially if you're in a fasted state. It's going to feed your muscles with the energy that it needs. So your body automatically attacks your fat stores first, which is obviously what we want. Okay. Perfect, Kristen. Thank you for answering, babe. Hi, Caitlin. So the BCAAs, you don't only have to take this when you're working out. Say if you are really super busy and you're out of the house all day long, I would recommend packing some BCAAs, chucking it in your water and sipping on it all day. As long as you're getting one that's not packed with calories, number one, and number two, with like things like caffeine and whatnot, like BCAAs should just kind of be BCAAs, really and truly. The few that I linked up in the group there, the Arbonne one, which is called After Workout, and then the ATP Lab one, is just purely BCAAs and a couple other things to help digestion and feeding your body the right things when you're working out. So ideally it's an intra workout, which is during. I prefer to sip on it while I work out. I'm not sure why. It's probably just a habit. Or sometimes if I don't work out, I will still have my drink kind of during that fasted period because there's no calories in it. Just be careful. The Arbonne one does have a little bit of calories in it. So hopefully that answers your question, but branched chain amino acids, don't have them more than one a day. It's just not necessary. And I want to just kind of touch on, like, again, the supplement thing. Like I take supplements, ladies, but I always try to get what I need from food first, because when you're popping a pill, it's basically broken down powder and it's not the easiest thing for your body to digest. Whereas things like vitamin D, that's why I'm sitting in front of the window, I obviously can't get enough in the winter. So I automatically know that I need to take my vitamin D. And probiotic, for those of you that don't take a probiotic, you've got to ask me what I recommend, because honestly, it's changed my life and it can change yours. And I did a video, and I actually just realized a few days ago that didn't post, so I am going to be posting it today, just about gut health and the fact that I actually suffer from a ton, and I mean a ton, of digestion issues. I have a stomach ache probably 6 or 7 times a week. So I've just kind of learned to live with it. I've got testing done. I'm seeing a naturopath, but I need to keep going. And it's all about being resilient. But I remember before I even started taking a probiotic, oh my gosh, I was in turmoil. Like, it's going to promote positive gut bacteria, which is basically the hub of your entire body. Yes, your brain obviously runs everything that's going on from there down. However, your stomach is responsible for how you sleep, how bloated you feel, how you uptake any nutrients, how you digest, all these things. Obviously your bowel movements, all the other functions in your body start with your gut bacteria. So it can really have a huge, profound effect. And I highly, highly recommend that you get a probiotic in your diet. And it should be about 50 billion cells or more. And I do recommend to change up this probiotic probably every 30 to 45 days, just because it's like anything else, you don't want your body to get so used to taking something that it's doing absolutely nothing for you again. Okay, so hopefully that's loud and clear. Holly's got a question. I did post the tracker. Oh. I missed something. I'm not sure what I missed, babe. It was basically for you to pick your goal or a series of goals and answer all those questions. And then I want you to track how many times in the next 11 weeks that you are working towards that goal. So it could be a workout, it could be a healthy meal, it could be an extra glass of water, it could be 10,000 steps, it could be a mind feed, it could be a positive affirmation. I want you to write that goal down, and I want you to answer all those questions that I posted underneath. And then I literally want you to take that same piece of paper, I want you to look at it every freaking day, and I want you to track it. Be honest with yourself. Like 100% every day that you are working towards that specific goal. I want you to visualize it, but I also want you to track it. So just put a little bit of I need water. Sorry, I'll put a little bit of a tick beside, what you're doing to accomplish that goal each and every single day. You don't have to write it out, just put a tick so you know that you've done it, okay? Hopefully that answers. Wendy, I struggle with some stomach issues as well. Since I haven't started eating. Good. She's saying that she started eating clean and a probiotic. She feels very seldom that she gets her actual stomach pain, which is super important. Again, it's that gut bacteria, which I really, it makes such a huge difference. Honestly, it does. Okay, let's go. Laura, you're welcome. No worries. Okay, ladies, good. Holly, I'm glad. Any other questions? This is awesome. I'm really enjoying this. So we talked a little bit at the beginning, if you missed it, about macronutrients, and then Laura, I answered all 3 of your questions, girls, so you might have to go backwards. Just kind of reiterate that. If you can, I'm going to post another something about this too, but there is a label and an ingredients list on certain items in your grocery store / everything for a reason. Please take the time to look at what you're buying. And even though it might say, low in calories or fat-free or gluten-free, if you can't pronounce a lot of the things that are in your food, you should not be eating it. Period, end of story. I can't even pretend that that's not so important. And there's so many people that don't check labels. It's actually scary. Just always focus, again, 50% of your plate being vegetables, the other 30 your protein source, and make sure it's, I don't want to say the most expensive protein that you can afford to buy, but I am going to say that. So if it is, pasture raised, or, maybe it's raised on something other than corn, I do recommend getting that type of meat or fish, or farm raised, if you will. It's not any better, trust me. I mean, I have a lot of vegans in my circle of friends, in my network, and it's 10 times better though than having the chicken in a cage. So free range, stuff like that. If your budget can afford it, I do recommend spending a little bit of extra money. If it can't, I totally understand the cost of groceries and taxes and cost of living in this country, Canada, because I know I have a few ladies in the US, is a nightmare. However, you only have one chance basically to take care of your health, and you might as well keep going and always, always, always put yourself first and your health first, 100%, okay? I think that's all I've got for today. No one else has any questions. Everybody else is just whatever. I know what I'm doing. I don't have any questions about diet, workouts, water, I don't know, mindset, positivity. No one has anything. I find that really hard to believe. But hey, maybe I'm doing a good job. I'm not giving myself enough props, okay? Well, listen, your goals for this week are just going to be to focus a little bit more on the protein sources. So I'll be sure to touch on that quite often. We're definitely going to do another live workout Wednesday. If you haven't seen it, I posted that we're going to be doing a foam rolling tutorial. It won't be very long, but I'm just going to talk a little bit more about stretching. If you are somebody that doesn't have a foam roller, you don't have to run out and buy it. I do recommend them, but it's not mandatory, okay? It really isn't. We can just be able to stretch in a different manner to release that lactic acid. You're welcome, Kaylin. It was great to see you all, ladies. I hope you're having a really good weekend so far. And I don't know if I've got anything else. So if you have any questions that I didn't answer, post them in the group, tag the Q&A topic, and I'll be sure to get to it the next time. But I just love seeing you all here and answering any of the questions that you have. Hopefully you got a lot of value from this. Have an awesome weekend, ladies. Love you. Bye.